entitled The Rise and Fall of the House of York, and its author is the excellent Andrew Lownie, who joins us now. Welcome, Andrew. Thank you.
Always a pleasure to chat to you.
As I said, you've been pretty strong in what you've said in the past, that you think it's a very serious possibility that as more and more revelations come out about Prince Andrew, or Andrew Mountbatten Windsor as he is now, and Jeffrey Epstein and what he got up to in those dark years, that it is not beyond the realms of possibility that the former Prince Andrew could end up behind bars.
Yes, well, I mean, I think you probably skipped to the Middle East before that happens. But yeah, this is bad news for him. I mean, I never expected this to happen. I mean, the Trump administration have fought for years to suppress this material. They can see that for its sort of voting base that it was being very damaging. And it's another case of people power, and the way that people power, I think, shifted attitudes here so that the king took away Andrew's titles and forced him out of Royal Lodge. So I think we've got several things that may be happening. We may get a stronger sense of the extent of the relationship Andrew had with Epstein when it actually began much earlier than he says, that it went on much later than he says. I think that'll be also true of Sarah Ferguson. I think we are also going to possibly get other victims coming forward, girls who were sent to him. Part of the case has always been Virginia Giuffre was a discredited witness. She was only 17. But we may have younger girls who are who may well now be discovered or come forward. I think clearly we may get lots of other names, particularly American names, but also possibly some British names. So we don't know what we don't know. But from my research, there's certainly going to be some bombshells. As you said, only a few of these emails that have leaked so far have really caused quite a lot of damage already. And this is going to be even bigger.
So, you know, we've all watched as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has fallen so far, and we assumed, well, he can fall no further, but that is not the case. These Epstein files could make his nightmare even worse than it already is. There was a story only a couple of weeks ago that they're already in the frame allegedly of girls that Epstein may have supplied to the then Prince Andrew. There's one other name already, but we're assuming there could be more. And this is what Epstein did. He gathered around him powerful, rich, influential men and sort of bought their favour, curried their favour by showing them a good time, supplying them with girls that were recruited by Ghislaine Maxwell. To this day, the only person who's gone to jail for this scandal. Always find that kind of hard to swallow, really. This is a scandal of men. The only person who's gone to jail for it is a woman. But more women connected to Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, as you say. Epstein wasn't fussy about their actual age. If there's anyone underage in that list of shame for Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, he's in deep trouble, isn't he?
Yes, absolutely. And as you say, there is a name that's been mentioned in the press without actually giving the name. I know of other girls, and I think we may find that there are other girls that are younger than Virginia Giuffre. So yes, it's not looking good for him at all. And of course, what it might also do is give some leads for journalists to do their own research and find more material. It may bring some of the victims forward, either willingly or not. So it's not just what's in the files, it's what the files might lead to that I think is going to cause him some worry. I don't think he'll be sleeping well tonight.
In your research, what you know, obviously there are things you know that you can't say at this juncture. I mean, you implied then that there may be girls connected to Andrew Mountbatten Windsor in the past supplied by Epstein who were actually underage.
Yes, that's certainly what I think I have been able to discover. Yeah, I have to be careful what I say, but yes, I do think that this will uncover other girls that he was involved with or were trafficked to him.
So potentially, we've got to say allegedly, the Andrew formerly known as Prince Andrew, could end up on a paedophile rap, which is extraordinary.
Yeah, I mean, I've always felt that, you know, the more likely charges are financial, and I think those may still come, but it's going to put extra pressure on the law. enforcement agencies here to actually do a proper investigation. I don't think they've done that in the past. And I think, the public pressure is that, he must be held accountable, and anyone else who emerges in these files. And I think so there will be pressure on these enforcement agencies to actually do proper investigations. So, yeah, I don't think it's looking at all good for him. He can refuse to give evidence to these organizations. I mean, whether it's the Senate or the victims' lawyers or whoever it is. But it's not looking, the optics look terrible. And though he, as you say,
Happened to all these poor girls who fell into Epstein's evil web, if you see what I'm saying.
yeah. Well, I agree. It isn't a good look, and I think that's why they distance themselves. And he's been stripped of his titles and basically being sort of exiled. They want this problem to go away. They don't want to be associated with him. But he is actually a pretty obstinate figure, and we know that he's playing hardball about the terms on which he's prepared to move from Royal Lodge. And I don't think he'll worry about the shame and the embarrassment he's bringing on the monarchy and his family, his close family members. So all they can do is say, look, we did our best. We have nothing to do with him. Do with him as you wish. And I think he will be in some ways a sacrificial lamb to try and sort of draw a line under this problem.
You've written at great length in your excellent book about his extremely shady financial dealings and how when he was Britain's trade envoy he egregiously abused that position by flying around the world at taxpayers' expense, always usually avoiding staying at British embassies and choosing instead five-star hotels that happen to be attached to golf courses, but also along the way feathering his own nest, making shady deals with even shadier billionaires. So his financial affairs, I suspect there could be more problems revolving around that for him as well.
Yes, I think so. I would like the government to release all the files connected with his time as a trade envoy from 2001 to 2011, which they have closed. They've even given, under an FOI request, they said that nothing on Prince Andrew would be released till 2065. And I think, Parliament should be pressing to have these files released so we know who were on these trips. It's rumored that Epstein was one of the people, who he saw and what he did. And I think, and I've spent 4 years trying to get access to this material. Even today I had another request basically saying they had nothing. And I think that would certainly shed a lot of light on his activities. But of course, he was enabled by so many people, diplomats, politicians, civil servants, that in some ways this is going to open a whole can of worms, and they'd prefer not to go there. But yeah, this story has a long way still to run, and it has several strands: the financial, the sexual, the British, the American, and more names will emerge. I think possibly even quite senior British politicians, and the Mandelson story will seem pretty small compared to some of the things that I think may emerge.
It really is remarkable, all of this stuff. But so what you're saying with your FOI request and your quest to find out what he got up to when he was trade envoy, when he was they used to call him Air Miles Andy, didn't they? When he was frankly abusing that position, he's still despite how far he's fallen, he's still being protected by a kind of royal deference.
Yeah, and it's extraordinary. I was talking to a member of the household only a few days ago, and they were saying that they still had staff, both Sarah Ferguson and Andrew, that they were still entertaining people in Buckingham Palace, business associates. Sarah Ferguson was coming in to do her laundry, which is extraordinary. And so in some ways,
like now?
publicly,
Now?
supposedly, yeah, pretty recently.
Oh my God!
I think it's called the laundry room or the linen room. I think it's called.
Yeah.
And staff were being told that they had to do it. So and we had, after all, at the Duchess of Kent's funeral. I mean, he had a police escort from Windsor. I mean, I don't know who authorised that, but he wasn't. Has long not been a working royal. So in some ways, they're saying one thing in public, but actually doesn't seem to be much is changing behind the scenes.
Yeah, I did hear that the King is a soft-hearted fellow, I do believe, who still, despite everything, performatively, he's talking a tough game about his brother, and he has been pretty tough on him, to be fair. But I did hear that when he does finally get to Sandringham, he will be given a staff to look after him. He'll have cooks, butlers, all that sort of thing, and he'll get quite a generous personal allowance from the monarch. So in the end, Charles, the punishment that it looks as if Charles has dished out is not quite as severe as some people think.
No, and I think he'll be paid quite large sums of money to leave Royal Lodge. But the problem is I don't think it's just being soft-hearted. The problem is he has this cast iron lease, and the only way to get him out is to make it attractive for him to go. He's not going to do it because from the goodness of his heart. And he's, very keen to get conditions, for example, for his daughters, that they remain within the royal family, retain their titles. He's very keen to ensure that nothing changes when William comes to the throne. So he's in quite a strong position. So I do feel sorry for the king, because he's trying his best with actually a slightly limited set of cards.
So all those stories about like 3-4 weeks ago, when it was over and out, he's lodged, he's gone, he's going to go to Sandringham, that's it, he's had to agree, he's being shamed. They were all a bit premature. The negotiations continue right now.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. And I think, I'm not sure it's still absolutely certain that he will go to Sandringham. I think there's still a lot of things left in the open. And, quite when he leaves Royal Lodge, again, has been very much left open. They clearly don't want it in Sandringham around Christmas, but there's clearly a bit of downsizing to go on. But, I think there's a lot still to be agreed. And so a lot of it is smoke and mirrors. A lot of it's what is window dressing, to try and satisfy the public mood without actually necessarily giving all the concessions that people are hoping for.
Just before you go, Andrew, thanks again for joining us. Always a pleasure. How has this happened to this guy? What is it about his personality, his character, that has brought him to this low ebb?
Well, it's a good question, and funnily enough, I was talking the other day, and a woman popped up out of the audience who was his nanny in the 1960s. And she stressed that, he'd had a lot of discipline and he'd been taught right from wrong. But, the feeling I got when I researched it was that he really had never been disciplined, and he had got away with things, and he carried on like that. I mean, for example, at Gordonson, he didn't feel that the rules applied to him. We get that with golf clubs, for example, in Switzerland, where he doesn't switch his mobile off. So he just does his own thing. And I think, as you say, this deference has allowed people just to turn a blind eye and let him get on with it. And it is odd, because his siblings aren't like that. Someone described him as the runt of the litter. He is very different, and he's pretty shameless. I mean, he seems pretty thick-skinned.
Yeah, pretty thick, I think, is the word you're looking for as well.
Well, thick as well, yeah, thick and thick-skinned.
A quick last word, Andrew. What about Fergie? What will become of her? You just said she's still getting her washing done in Buckingham Palace. Is she still clinging on to the royal connection for all she's worth, or will she, as we were told, be made to just make her own way in life from now on?
Well, it's strange. I mean, she's been keen to live with him for the last 30 years, and now he's downsizing, she's less keen. Having been the happiest divorced couple ever. But yeah, I think she's going to fly to pastures new. She can see that he's toxic to her brand, and she's all about brands. And I think she's going to pop up somewhere. She's plotting her return. She's the Rasputin of the royal family. You can't keep her down.
Oh dear. Who will rid her of this awkward redhead? Andrew, fantastic to talk to you. Thank you once again for your time. Andrew Lownie, the author of entitled The Rise and Fall of the House of York, sensational biography that really set this ball rolling.